Hello class, we are in our third week for the qualitative research methods. We already identified our research question, which is backed up by the reviewed literature. In other words, the literature review helped us to state our research question. What next? And this is what we are going to discuss during our third week. We want to find out how do we now proceed into conducting the research. We need to consider some basic or fundamental requirements for conducting qualitative research, which is going to be the topic of our third week. In this week, we will look into philosophical assumptions. We will look into interpretive frameworks. Those are theories that guide our studies, and other basic requirements for conducting qualitative research, like listening, taking care of your data, and perseverance in the study and practice in the study. Okay, let's start with the first topic, philosophical assumptions. This topic comes from the textbook by Creswell and Poth. If you look at any dissertation, in the first chapter, there is a section on assumptions. In this section, researchers explain or they state the assumptions, the facts that they took for granted to begin the research. Their assumptions are related to ontological assumption, epistemological assumption, axiological assumption, or methodological assumptions. The ontological assumptions, they talk about the question of reality. In qualitative research, reality is multiple. It is not like in quantitative where you find an answer to your hypothesis. In qualitative research, you will come up with multiple realities. So some of the assumptions are related to the ontological assumption. The other assumptions are related to epistemological assumption. And here the question is, what counts as knowledge? Because epistemology implies knowledge. How do we acquire knowledge? How do we differentiate what is acquired to be true from what is untrue? Or how is knowledge acquired in qualitative research? It is subjective. You interview study participants, or you make observations, you conduct focus group. That is how knowledge is acquired. So it's always subjective. So some of the assumptions talk about this. The third category of assumption talk about the axiological assumption, and this means dealing with values. Qualitative research is value laden, meaning there is always the question of value, question of judgment, question of right and wrong involved in the study. Because it is subjective, because the question of value is involved, the researcher has also their own values, so they need to come up with some strategies on how to minimize their personal biases and knowledge, because the study should be about others, what study participants report to us. So some of the assumptions stated are related to axiological assumption, and finally it is methodological assumption. This is whether it is inductive or deductive approach. In qualitative research, we usually apply the inductive approach. From the individual study participants, we come up with one concrete or some themes that respond to our research question. So that will be one of the areas where you will be doing your reading. The second area will be on interpretive frameworks. These are theories that guide our thinking, our research. They are world views that could provide some guidance on our research. And there are 10 of them discussed: post-positivism, social constructivism, transformational research or theory, postmodernism, pragmatism, feminism theory, critical theory, critical race theory, queer theory, and disability theory. Well, this can also give you an idea where your study falls, or what would be the ultimate goal of your research topic. The third category is in general what considerations you should make, and this comes from Yin's textbook. It is about the importance of listening, because listening is a skill, and as a qualitative researcher, you need to be a good listener. You need to consider asking a good question, knowing about your research topic, caring about the data that you have collected, and the need for conducting parallel tasks or multiple tasks at a go, and the importance of perseverance in doing the study. You don't have to be discouraged. You have to persist in what you are doing. So the importance of perseverance is also discussed. So I hope the reading will broaden your knowledge on these topics that I have mentioned, and this is going to lead us into becoming more scientific or systematic with our research, because what will follow next is now to put it in practice and clarify the background of the problem, the significance of the study, rationale of the study, defining the scope and limitation of the study, and so forth. So we are getting warmed up. We are getting prepared for that task. All right. Thank you. Enjoy the week.